This Red Simpson. Where and when were you born?
That's
Classified information.
that's. I was born in the summer somewhere. No, I was born in Higley, Arizona. Higley. They say Higby and Higney and everything else. And 1934. Moved to California in 1937.
And when did you come to Bakersfield?
1937.
You came straight here, huh?
Yeah, we came here the year Merle was born.
Oh, yeah.
And something else. Let's see. Yeah. There was three things that we came here the year he was born, and his birthday is a month to the day after mine.
After yours?
6th of April. Mine's March 6th. But that don't mean anything, yeah.
Helps. You came because your parents moved here then, is that right?
Yeah.
You're 3 years old, I imagine. So.
Well,
You wanted to get a job,
went
but they wouldn't let him.
to school one day and come home and they'd moved, so I think.
Yeah. He said, I'm going to Bakersfield.
Yeah, we moved out here.
Okay.
My dad was a farm worker, so he came out here to work around in the farm. That's about all he did.
Who, at an early age, who influenced you musically? Who were you listening to? When you liked?
My brother mostly.
Oh.
Yeah, my older brother, he played bass and rhythm guitar. And him and Bill Woods, he used to work for Bill Woods. And they kind of, I wanted to play music and wear nice clothes like they did. So.
Yeah.
Fancy clothes.
Boy, them Western shows, boy.
Yeah.
With friends on it.
Yeah.
What was your first job as a musician?
First job as a musician. It was called Royal Palms Bar out on Casaloma and Union, which Ming goes into Casaloma now. But there was a little bar there, and I was about 15, I guess. This buddy of mine, he was 21. We'd go out there, and he played left-handed guitar rhythm, and I was playing a little lead then.
Uh-huh.
And he was from New York, and he was a hillbilly from New York. And we'd go out there and play for tips. And,
Yeah.
Tip?
Yeah. We'd make, $8-10 a night. And
Back
that's
then, good money.
better than picking cotton, man.
Yeah, right.
All I make out there $3-4.
Yeah.
But the first paid job I ever had was the wagon wheel in Lamont.
Uh-huh.
The little bar there. And when I came back home out of the Navy in 1955,
Uh-huh.
I was working $5 a night.
Wow.
I think Henry was at the car wash then.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm making more than you were.
Yeah. And he was at the car wash. Then I went to work at the car wash. And Henry, he went to the blackboard. And I thought, man, that guy's so lucky. He don't have to wash them damn cars no more. I'm down there washing these old cars in this heat. He's down there in the blackboard where it's cool, playing music.
All right. I left into that job, though.
Oh, go ahead. What instruments do you play, or have you played? Or?
I play a little guitar, and
Uh-huh.
piano, and bass, and fall off the drums better than anybody Henry ever seen. He gets his coffee.
You said there was music on that seven?
Okay.
Okay.
We're back to it. Let's see. Your early, you were gone in the Navy or how many years?
3 years and 3 months.
So it's like 51 to 55, maybe, or 52.
January 55 till January 52 till
Okay.
March of 55. Let me get this phone.
Okay. You're in the Navy. Before you went in the Navy, like you were like, what were you doing before you went in the Navy? High school.
Going to high school.
Yeah. So you went straight to high school into the Navy almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't finish high school. We was on welfare, just me and my dad and my mother there was 12 in our family, but there was just 3 of us at home then. All the kids were older than me. And I found out that I could do better in there and make more money for them too. So, and I wanted to get out of school anyhow. So
Yeah.
I went in the Navy, and worked out real good.
Wow. Before you went in the Navy, who were you listening to here in Bakersfield? Was there a little scene going then? Like it already started, I think.
Yeah, Bill Woods was on radio, KPMC then, I think. Herb and Billy Myers and a bunch of them were on the radio, and sometimes they'd have live radio shows. I'd go down and watch them, and go to the Saturday night dance at Rainbow Gardens. Wanting to get into music. So.
Would you play with them or
no? I didn't.
Just listen?
Didn't then. I would just listen and watch and try to learn something.
Yeah. Okay.
You can learn more that way.
Yeah.
Then you came back 55, and at that point, what happened?
Well, I went picking cotton.
Wow.
And potatoes and whatever work was around here, and then I got to play on weekends over at Wagon Wheel. And well, let's see, I played some at Doc's Club.
Yeah.
That's out on Edison. It was a little dive out there, and I think we was getting $10 there.
The prices went up. Yeah.
And and I went to college on my GI Bill. I was taking sheet metal, and was also working on piano at this time, and Fuzzy Owens was playing at the Clover Club, and George French was playing piano, and he was leaving to go to Louisiana, and I'd go out and George would let me sit in and play for him. I didn't play real good then, but I had the good rhythm, and I could play a little bit of lead on the piano. And Fuzzy said, if you'll come out and practice a couple hours every day, and then I'll give you this job. So six nights a week, I think it was.
This is where now at the
Clover Club.
Clover Club. Okay. And Fuzzy was the
band leader. Yeah.
The band leader, and
that was 1659. So
Yeah, that's the Union Skate.
I quit sheet metal in because then I joined the union and got me a steady job. Hung right in there.
What was the name of the band?
I don't think that didn't even have one. I don't think. It was Fuzzy and Roy Nichols, Louie, and Glenn Ayers.
Yeah, Glenn played drums.
Yeah.
And how long did you play at the Clover then?
Oh, till they went out of business, I think.
I forgot when that was.
B.J. Goodman had it then. He was him and his brother Tooney and their sister Charlotte. And I don't know what happened. Taxes or something. A couple of years there, they closed up.
What year was that? They closed?
I can't remember now.
Sometime in the 60s. We'll get it eventually.
I think it was about 58 or 59, because when I went to working at the blackboard relief for Buck and Bill Woods when they were playing sick, and I think Buck left here in 59 or something like that.
I think it was, yeah. Washington.
Washington, yeah.
You are.
And he had a job in Ridgecrest up there at the Desert Inn, and he told me, why don't you take that job up there? And he gave me this guy's number, and I called him, and I didn't know anything about getting the band together, so I turned it over to Fuzzy, and he got the band together, and we started playing over Ridgecrest weekends.
Well, you got Roy, didn't you, Louie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Roy and Louie and Bonnie, and I think, was Glenn playing drums? I think Glenn Ayers playing drums.
Oh, yeah.
We got your coffee here.
You want a black or
A little bit. Rolling. When did you start to write?
Oh, I've wrote ever since I was a kid, or tried to.
Yeah.
Since I was about 14 or 15. And I didn't get anything going until I got to working in the clubs, and I started writing. And I used to take stuff over to Buck. He lived over in a little old 2-bedroom house over at East Bakersfield. Quantico, yeah. And I remember, this was way back though, before I went to work with Fuzzy, I think. I had an idea I wrote this song, and I took it over to Buck, and he worked on it a little bit, and Farmer Boys that used to play around here. They recorded it on Capitol. It was the first one that I ever got recorded. Then I was hooked in.
What song was that?
Called "Someone with No One to Love."
How many songs have you written through the years?
Get him that list.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
These are recorded, that list I tell you about.
Those are the ones recorded, yeah.
That's kind of like asking me how many Mexicans are in California.
Yeah.
There's no census. Or there's no consensus either.
I really don't know. I know.
Well, the recorded ones, would you say like 5,000 would be?
Oh, I don't think I've had that many. But yeah, I'd be living in a bigger mobile home.
Bigger house.
Probably be longer.
Hell yeah.
Wouldn't have no patio there. No, I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't say that many.
Yeah.
I know Buck's cut about 35 that I wrote. Merle's did a half a dozen, and then had other people. Of course, Charlie Walker and Roy Clark did one. Johnny Paycheck, Roseanne Cash, Jeannie Seeley, Connie Smith,
Annette Funicello.
Annette Funicello.
What song was that?
That was Lucky Old Colorado.
Wow.
She recorded it. She made a country album and put that on there.
Huh. But of the songs that you've written, what are your personal favorites?
All of them.
That make money.
All of them except the bad ones that I didn't let people hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that makes the most money, like Sam's Place,
Yeah.
Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
It's doing real good.
You have a real feeling for ballads. Where does that come from, or do you just?
Had a lot of girlfriends and wives, and they can get you in the mood for writing them kind of stuff. You know. I ain't wrote many sad ballads here lately.
You're too happy.
Well, Colorado ain't really a sad ballad.
No, it ain't sad.
No, it ain't really sad.
No, but there's like a real tenderness to a lot of your songs. I mean, like I always get lucky with you and things like that. Maybe that's not a perfect example, but it's there. I hear.
Oh, that wasn't mine.
Trying
Well,
to
you
break my heart
co-wrote
this
it.
year, ain't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Trying to break my heart.
You don't have every part of it? Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I wrote that at the Lucky Spot.
Oh, did you?
I was down at the stop sign on Mount Vernon and California. I wrote it before I got there.
Oh.
How did it happen? Anything trigger it?
I just thought, I got there and I thought, I don't have very far to go now. That's about every song. I was a little early getting to work anyhow.
Yeah.
So I sat out in the car there and
Yeah.
worked on it. Merle was playing bass there. And let's see, Fuzzy played steel. And I was playing piano. I think Mel King was playing drums.
Yeah.
And I sang it to Merle. He'd had one record out, I think.
Sing a sad song?
Yeah, and he heard it and he said, I want to record that. I said, okay. He took it and worked it over.
Yeah. What year? This is like 62?
It's Merle's second record, I think.
Yeah. 62, 63.
No, 63.
And,
I couldn't tell you right offhand.
what do you have any theory as to why music happened in Bakersfield the way it did? That just
Well, just a bunch of Okies and Arkies and Arizonians, and a bunch of them come out here instead of going to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And they all listen to Grand Ole Opry, I guess. And
Yeah.
we all liked it. And I guess that's how it happened with us. I know.
Was there any conscious rejection of the countrypolitan sound that kind of dominated Nashville at that time? More in the '60s, I think, than the '50s, but because '50s you still had the hard sound. But was that a conscious thing, or did it just happen that way, or?
I guess it just happened that way. I'm really no expert on that. And,
When you would go into to Capitol to record, and I'm not clear on this. Was Fuzzy your producer at all?
No.
Or was Ken Nelson was the producer?
Ken Nelson, yeah. The first time.
What would he do? Would he tell you anything beforehand, or just let you go, or pretty much how did he handle it?
He'd just let you go.
Yeah.
You know.
Do your thing.
Yeah. Do what you want to do.
And would you be responsible for the musicians, or would he?
No, I
play
would.
with?
I would.
Okay.
I got on Capitol. Ken Nelson wanted to do a truck driving album, and they asked Merle to do it, and he didn't want to do it. And I'd been writing songs for Cliffy Stone, who's I think a partner in Simple Songs with Ken Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd sent a lot of dubs. He's been down there a lot, and I was playing on Buck sessions then too. And I knew Ken pretty well. Every time we go in there, he said, "Who wrote this song?" Red Simpson. Who wrote this song? And, what you doing? Trying to monopolize Buck Owens' record or what? And so one, I think it was on a Thursday afternoon, Cliffy called me and said, "How'd you like to go on Capitol Records?" I said, "Me?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, yeah. What do I got to do?" You know, and he said, "Get some truck driving songs together." And
Yeah.
Ken wants to do a truck driving album. And can you be down here Monday and sign the contract? I said, "I can be down there in 2.5 hours." So that's how that came about.
Yeah. What was I've always imagined, like, after somebody tells you that, and you got your band and you're in your car driving there, what's the feeling like as you go over the grapevine and you know you've got a deal and a record coming out?
You feel great,
Yeah.
but you're scared to
death. Yeah.
Scared to death.
Yeah.
But we had some good songs.
Yeah.
Capitol was a big label.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
The label.
Still big label. I just got another thing cut on Capitol by I didn't know the group, but they covered Highway Patrol.
Yeah. Huh.
And this guy that I'm dealing with in New York, he called me the other day and was telling me about it. And he said, "You just got another cut on the Highway Patrol on Capitol."
Huh.
I think he said some group out of Florida.
Huh. Not the Mavericks?
I
think they're out of Florida.
I can't remember.
Yeah. The country group.
How about the tractors?
Yeah. But yeah, it was good to be on Capitol. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had already, when I got on Capitol, I was doing so good playing on Buck sessions and my writer's royalties that I just had just almost quit club work altogether.
Yeah.
You know? Because I was making enough to live and get by.
On your songs, how much? This is kind of maybe you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. It's like how much autobiographical experience comes in? Like Roll Truck Roll, there's this line about where the little boy's drawing trucks, and you say, "I guess I know what that means." And is that? Do you have a son at that time, or that was?
I had a son, but I didn't write that song.
Okay.
Tommy Collins.
Oh, Tommy Collins with that. Okay.
And he had it. He had. I did the arrangement on it. But
Yeah.
I didn't do no writing on it.
Okay. No. Any stories behind your songs that I have to go through and just listen to them more of them, obviously.
Not very many. There's most
Imagination.
Imagination.
Yeah. So something would just happen and you come up
Yeah.
with it. Yeah. Any that stick in your mind as funny or do you want to share with anybody?
Yeah, I wrote this one thing. I was over at Barrel House one night, and this guy grabbed this guy's hat. And they had the damnedest fight you ever seen. And I wrote the song, "Oh, don't touch my hat or I'll bust your head."
Don't mind with a cowboy. That's
Okay. Yeah, I know that. Let's see. Okay, when in the 50s, who were you playing with then, besides each people we mentioned, like Fuzzy and Roy Nichols and others? Buck was here then, and then
Yeah, Buck and Billy Myers, Cliff Crawford, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I just drifted around and played with all of them.
Yeah.
You know, whoever was sick or needed relief or something.
Yeah.
we're both favorite guys nobody ever heard of.
Yeah, I worked with Henry Sharpe for a long time. He finally got me a job at the Blackboard with Henry.
There you go.
He come in there, well, I tell you, he's gonna play piano. I knew that. You know. He come in there with this little amplifier about this wide, about this high. I said, "Red, what in the hell are you gonna do with that?" He said, "I'm gonna play piano to it." I thought, "Oh hell. And he hooked that son of a bitch up. It had the best piano sound you ever heard.
I remember that little Silvertone, yeah.
Little bitty amp, it wasn't that big. He turned that, I thought, man,
It wasn't an electric piano, was it? It
No.
was
Oh, it's
a
a
full
regular little,
little
what do
grand.
you call them like that?
Had a bug in the back. And,
Yeah.
Put the contact mic on the back,
Yeah.
plug it in
A
the amp.
synthesizer, or is this before that though?
no, it was just regular piano
It's a regular
pickup.
little piano.
Wow.
And I thought, Jesus Christ, you gonna play through that? And that blackboard is big, believe me,
Yeah.
it is big.
And I had a George left there, and I took that job. He went to Hacienda,
Mhm.
and then he had it up high, about this high, where you stand up there,
Stand up and play it.
and you couldn't hit that hole pedal.
Yeah.
It holds the note out. So
Yeah.
I think I rigged me up a drum pedal or something with a clothes hanger where
Yeah.
I could put my foot on it and it'd pull that down. So.
Wow.
Sustaining pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of all the songs you've written, what is your favorite personally? Or if you had one song and say this is the best I could do, what would that be?
He wrote that.
I don't
yet.
think I wrote that yet.
That's good. That means you aren't done. Henry knew that one. Okay.
Well, he wrote a lot
You
of
aren't
them.
done yet. Okay.
Last Night in Town was a pretty good song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last Night in Town.
He wrote that about an old boy coming to Blackboard all the time. He said, boy, this is my last night in town. Old Jody.
Jody Crossway.
Jody Crossway.
Yeah.
I remember him.
And Red, he kept hearing him say, this is my last night in town. So he wrote that.
And I got a cut on it by paycheck.
Yeah.
Sonny Paycheck did it.
Let's see. Did you ever appear on Cousin Herb's show?
Oh yeah, several times. I'd play relief for Herb when Bill would tell him he was sick, and Herb would believe him, and he'd go home.
Really?
Yeah, I'd hang out down there every
He
day.
didn't tell us that.
Yeah,
He said he was always there.
He'd tell Herb, now Herb, you feel all right, you know? And
Yeah.
Herb would go, why? And he said, well, you don't look too good, boy. Over. He'd get sick. I think he's a hypochondriac.
He'd be sick, had to go home.
Yeah.
You make Herb get sick?
Yeah. There wasn't a damn thing wrong with it.
But I'd go, but I was always hanging around down there, and
Yeah.
Herb gets sick or something. I'm right there, you know, I'm ready to play.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they'd call me and
Yeah.
What was the name of that old hotel?
Elton Home
Elsie Home Hotel. That's where the studio was then.
down on where Bank of America is right now.
Huh.
On
Chester and
Chester and Truxton.
Shropshire.
Right there. Well, actually, it's Truxton and Cade right there in the back.
Yeah.
They used to have their. I remember one time out there, they used to go outside and have a show outside in the summer. You know? Yeah, or springtime, whatever it was. And they had Rose Maddox and up there one, Rose and Cal, and I think Fred was with them and the mother. And I'd park down there, and here I come walking up the sidewalk, and old Ma Maddox said, "There comes old R.E.D." She was a good old gal.
Yeah, she was. What I liked about Mama, she said exactly what she thought. She
Anytime.
didn't mean to hurt you,
Yeah.
but she meant to see that she would tell you what she
She'd
thought.
tell you right now.
You bet. It didn't take her no hour to tell you either. I come off that stage one night, I just done something real slow about it. And her Rose guessed it, she said. I said, "Hi, Mama, how are you?" She said, "Henry, you ain't no country singer, you're a crooner."
That's
I said,
every
"Thank you, ma'am."
boy.
She was a dandy, Mama was.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. What do you remember any incidents that happened on that show that were funny? That because we heard a story yesterday about how Bonnie tested it.
All about the mattress.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember Herb used to have this monkey, and had him on the show there, real monkey.
Yeah.
And one time he just destroyed the whole set. He must have got into some X-Lax or something. I mean, he really messed up the studio up.
Geez.
All of the piano and everything.
What was Herb doing when the monkey was
Oh,
going bonkers?
He probably got sick and went home. Let's see, what else happened up there? Yes. I remember one time I was up there, and when they'd moved over here to Channel 23 on 21st, and Dan Blocker was up there that day, and him and Herb were going over to the old Melody Bowl. You know, if it used to be a bowling alley. Yeah, it was a bowling alley. Anyhow, they had a little cocktail lounge over there, and they were going over there to have a beer. You know, Herb invited me with him. So I was following him in this old ragged car I had, junky car. They was in this convertible, and they get right off. They turn right off of 21st there. And they get about 30 yards, and the car, Dan Blogger's car just stalled.
Yeah.
He died. I don't know what happened. But I took my old junky car and pushed him all the way on up to the.
You want me to push?
Yeah, so I pushed him on up there.
Yeah.
I can't remember what happened to it. Whether something happened to it, I can't remember what it was. But I never will forget that.
Working with Tommy Collins, what was that like?
Well, it was kind of fun, and of course I worked with him over at Vandenberg and a few other places. I had to learn Buck Owens' Tommy Collins style of guitar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the way it went. It was good. I like working with Tommy. He's a good man.
Any funny stories that you remember from that?
No, not really. Yeah, that was he was pretty strict on everything.
That's what happened. You quit preaching, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wynn Stewart.
Winster, great guy,
Very funny.
real good guy. Worked with him quite a bit. In fact, he cut a couple of my songs. And
Which ones?
thing called "I Bought the Shoes" that just walked out on me,
Wow.
and "Yours Forever," was the title of the album. And I worked on tour with him a lot. He was doing, him and his band would play, and then I'd come out and open the show for Buck.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember up in Utah, we was up there one time, and I had this shaving cream, and they were in the room next to me. I took this shaving cream and put it all the way down my beard, and dotted some up on my forehead, and I wrapped this towel around my head like a Arab, you know.
Yeah.
Knocked on the door, no Wynn. He stood there looking at me. He didn't know who I was at first. He cracked him up, boy. He said, "You guys come here and look at this. Come here and look at Red." I always done
Wynn
something.
was about this tall.
Yeah, he's a
bitty guy.
little bitty guy.
Just nice as he could be.
Let's see, who else? Don Rich.
Great guy, Don Rich. Can't say anything bad about Don.
Not a word.
Wrote a lot of songs with Don. In fact, we had
What are your favorites that you wrote with him?
we wrote, I can't remember how many. The one that stands out in my mind the most is Santa's Coming in a Stagecoach.
Uh-huh.
And we just had a Christmas before last, Alan Jackson cut it,
Uh-huh.
and changed it to Santa's Coming in a Pickup Truck.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Jackson and the Chipmunks.
All right.
That kind of made me feel good.
Yeah. You get the royalty off of that?
Not all of it.
Well, I mean, you get royalty off of
Some
that
of it.
song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What? Any stories about him?
About Don?
Yeah. Like part of the deal of this book is I'm trying to get. It's like magic. It's like magic, music, and wild times. Kind of like just. My theory is people were more alive. Musicians are more alive, and particularly in that time. I mean, people were just.
We would do about anything back in them days.
Yeah, and there were a lot of you. It wasn't like it was just one person.
I remember one time we was on the bus, was in Pittsburgh, and we pulled over to this bus stop, and Doyle Holly went to make a phone call or something. And this old wino staggered up there, and he said, "What is this?" Don said, "This is a bus. This is a bus." He said, "Where does it go?" Don says, "Anywhere we want to go." "Well, where are y'all going?" He said, "We're going to Carnegie Hall." And he said, "Oh, but I don't want to go that far." He said, "I'll catch the next bus." And Don closed the door. He said, "All right." Funny.
I never heard anything derogatory about
No.
Don.
Don was
He's always smiling and happy.
Prince of a guy.
Okay. Bobby Austin.
Bobby, I didn't know him.
Party
real-
going son of a gun.
Loved party. I didn't know Bobby all that well, but I think I worked with him at the what's the name of that club in Vegas?
Silver Dollar?
California Club.
No. It was over behind the strip, over to the left as you go in. Where
Wasn't the Saddle, not Saddle, Jeannie Seeley, I seen Jeannie Seeley out there one night.
Nevada or
Can't think of the name of that stuff.
Nevada Club. Or, anyhow, Winster was playing there, and George French was there.
Yeah.
And George had to take off 2 weeks for reserve, Navy Reserve or something. So I went over to work 2 weeks for him, and Bobby was working with him. And, yeah, he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Good singer.
Ralph Mooney, he was playing there at that time.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was the steel guy.
Yeah.
Any stories about Ralph or
Oh,
Bobby?
yeah. Ralph, he would pick me up at the motel and bring me home.
Yeah.
So this was on a Saturday, and we played till almost daylight. Well, it was about 4:30, I guess. Finally quit, and I was tired, man. We went to work at 9, and wasn't used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I told Ralph, I said, I'm gonna go out in the car and lay down. And I went to sleep, and I woke up, and it was hot. Windows were up, and I heard these guys arguing outside. And I raised up and looked around. I heard Ralph and this other guy. They were walking this way, and they were past the car going, and I rolled the window down. I said, Ralph, where are you going? He said, I'm going out here in the desert and whoop this guy's ass. And I said, hey, get back. Hey, get back over here, man. Finally talked him out of it.
Yeah. Jesus.
Crazy Ralph. Oh, he's country boy. Going out in the desert and whoop his ass.
Jeannie Shepard, you know her, or was that?
Oh, I know Jeannie, but I never did work with her.
Yeah.
I worked with her at Grand Ole Opry the last time I was there.
Yeah.
She can outdo any sailor talking.
Mm-hmm.
But, the last time I was there, Tex Ritter was the MC, and when I was a kid, I was shining shoes out here at Rhythm Rancho, and Tex was a guest star. So he went on a break, and I followed him outside, and I said, Mr. Ritter, would you like a shoe shine on your boots? And, well, yeah, son, I guess I could stand one,
Yeah.
And so, boy, and it was kind of dark out there, and there was a little bitty light bulb up on the corner of this building, and I remember he had this black chauffeur. He had a big, brand new station wagon. He had this chauffeur with him, and he was sitting there in the car, and I got my box out and shined him. And after he got through, I said, Mr. Ritter, I said, how's that look? And he said, well, son, you just ruined my favorite pair of green boots. Them ain't supposed to be black. And I said, oh, and he grabbed me by the hair of the head and shook me, boy. And I finally got loose, and I took off, and he said, boy, come back here. And I thought, oh, he's going to bust my britches. And I come back here, and he give me $1, and he said, well, it's a pretty good shine anyhow.
That's a great story.
So when I did the Opry, well, Tex was the MC. And he takes 10 minutes to tell this story about me. And man, I was nervous and everything else. The last thing he said, I'm sure glad the boy's recording now, because he never could shine shoes.
You got the voice right.
Nice old guy, old Tex. Love him. Another story about him, when I was working at Ridgecrest, I bought this old 39 Chevy at this wrecking yard over there, the old junker. And it didn't have no headliner or anything. And I got me a broom and painted that sucker black. It was all messed up anyhow, And Tex was a guest star up there. And if we got through that night, he said, you think you'd give me a ride down to the motel or something? I said, sure, Mr. So we got in that old 39 Chevy, no headliner or anything. He get in there and he looks around. He said, what kind of sports car is this, son? I was embarrassed. What kind of sports car is this, son?
Always felt like I would stand up and that man walk in.
Yeah.
I just had that much respect for him. Wow. And I didn't even know it until he come to the blackboard as guest.
Huh.
He come up on stage and said, son, you got anything in Alex? I said, yes, sir. He said, did you use them on this label, Wynn? Yes, sir, I'll try it. And I tried.
Yeah.
And we got through it.
Yeah.
He was mine.
Roy Nichols.
Roy Nichols.
You got any stories about Roy Nichols?
Yeah, there's a few, but I don't think we were telling. Fine guitar player.
Yeah.
Heck of a guy. Nice guy.
We heard one yesterday that Bill was saying there was a long, hard evening and everything, and he just settled in the tub, and he was there at this motel, and anyway, it's like he just leans back, and there's this big boom explosion, and he gets up and calls on room service, or calls the desk, and he says, "Did you hear that?" And they said no. And then he puts his towel on, he goes outside, and he waves down a security guard. He says, "Did you hear that?" And the guy says, "No." He says, "What do you mean?" And Bill says, "Well, there was this tremendous explosion, like an earthquake or a sonic boom or something." And then Merle and Roy just started. They fell out. They popped into the picture. They started laughing, walking off, and they'd set off a big cherry bomb, and then bought everybody off to be quiet.
Everybody else. Yeah.
And then he told us a story too of Louie and Roy getting into some fight.
In a car.
Yeah, in a
over at the
car.
Rancho.
Yeah, it's a Rancho, yeah.
They were hitting each other.
They'd hit each other and
Yeah.
and then Billy opened the door and Roy fell out.
Yeah.
And he tried to take a swing at Billy, and he says Billy threw him back in the car and said,
put him back in the car.
said, "Go ahead and kill each other for all I care."
Yeah.
He walked off and left.
Any stories? You got any that were fun or?
About Roy?
Yeah. Fun.
Let's see.
I never was around Roy that much after work.
Yeah.
I can't recall any of them.
Okay.
I remember one time that they were telling us, Louis used to tell us about Roy. That he'd been working that night, and he had quite a few drinks. And he was going home, and the cop pulled him over. And Roy was out there, and he was checking his driver's license and this and that. And the boy said, "You been drinking?" He said, "Oh, a little bit." He was leaning up there against the car, and his hand slipped and fell down. He got up, and that cop looked at him, and Roy said, "Ordinarily, I wouldn't do that."
Ordinarily, I wouldn't do that.
Okay. George French.
Old George.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, George worked on a couple of my albums, well, all 4 albums of Capitol. Showed me a lot on the piano, and helped me get a lot of work. Because every time he'd leave, I'd get the job.
Yeah.
Great musician, great piano player.
Yeah.
Real knowledge.
I just wished I could read and play like George did.
Yeah.
I mean, he could play anything from Beethoven to Buck Owens,
Wow.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
play it
great.
like it should be played.
Great quote. Don Markham.
Don Markham, yeah.
Weird.
He's unusual.
Yep.
That's about all you can say about Don. He's but a good musician.
He is.
Good
Ain't a
musician.
better trumpet man around, I don't think.
Yeah. Worked with Don down through the years. In fact, me and Don used to play at the Barrel House when it was just a little
Hole in the wall, really.
hole in the wall. Yeah. I remember we were playing in a corner, and I played rhythm guitar, and he was playing the sax and trumpet and bass.
Mm-hmm.
Just me and him.
Yeah.
Keep piece band.
Yeah. Huh. Louis Talley.
Louis Talley.
Boy, I know that.
There was a legend.
Yep.
There one night, I remember Sadie Hawkins night, we used to work the blackboard, and old Louis said, "Well, we're having a party at my house. Follow me." As we got off, so I was following old Louis, and as you come out of the blackboard, go down Chester there, that circle there, you make that circle now, and then you head out to East Bakersfield. Louis didn't make the circle. He went right over the top of that circle. Just kept on going.
You're supposed to follow him.
It's amazing that he didn't get killed in an accident.
I know.
Instead of having a heart attack.
And he drove so fast.
I know it. He was going to Porterville one night, drunk, And used to it was like this here, and then square, and then again, you know,
Yeah.
like this, almost all the way up. And one night he's going up through there, and he missed one of them curves, went straight out in this field, and he went between two big trees. And how he done it, he don't know. And he tried to back that car out of there everywhere in the world. He could not get it between them two trees. He couldn't. And how he got to it in the first place, I don't know.
Because he was drunk. That's what he was doing.
Yeah. But he had the best reflexes for a driver I've ever seen. That was amazing how he could do that, that car through them big trees. It killed him if he hit those trees.
Wow.
He missed both of them.
Do you have any stories about him on the road at all, or did you play with him on the road?
Yeah, I worked with Louis there from the 50s clear up till he went with Merle, and I still worked with him some. And Louis, he was funny. I remember one time I was working in the Sierra Sids up in Sparks, Nevada, and Willie was at the Harris. And so I went down there that night to see him, and Merle and him showed up. And I asked Merle, "Where's Louis?" And he said, "Well, he'll be here after a while. He's flying in from Bakersfield." So I went down there, and I just happened to be going outside, and here come Louis and this guy, and Louis said, "This is my pilot," and he said, "His name's Lindbergh." And I said, "Lindbergh?" And he said, "Yeah, that was his real name."
He flew down here to pick up some dogs one time from Merle.
Yeah,
Water dogs.
Lindbergh. That cracked me up, man.
Oh, this guy's kidding me.
I was doing a session over there one night at Louis' studio. And did you ever tell him about that?
I don't know.
Fuzzy kept telling Louis, he said, "Turn it up," and Louis kept turning and turning. And
Oh,
Fuzzy
yeah.
looked over and it was a coffee cup he was turning.
Turned it on.
Louis got to Louis liked to drink too.
He did.
Yeah, we heard a story yesterday about how there was a speaker that they were working on for hours and hours, he and Fuzzy, in the bus, and finally they couldn't do anything, and finally Louis just picked it up and threw it, and then it worked perfect. Any stories about other recording sessions there? Like, you know, you when you recorded, you might work all till like 2 a.m. and then go play until
One
past
time,
daylight. Or
when he had his studio over here on Baker, I went over there and I was working the blackboard, and we went over there to record. I think Bonnie was recording something, and anyhow, God, it was about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I just lived a couple blocks. And I left. I went home, went to bed, and about 10 o'clock, here comes Fuzzy. "Hey, we ain't through yet." I said, "I am." And he said, "No." I said, "We got to finish this." I said, "I'm too tired." Fuzzy. "Well, we just got one more song." So I got up and went back over and finished the song.
Yeah. Okay. How big of a studio was that?
About like this.
About like a
Garage?
about like a garage, yeah. Living room garage.
Would be like would things be? Was there like one mic or separate mics for everything?
No, he had
Little
plenty of mics. He had
patchwork?
lots of mics.
Yeah.
It was a regular little studio. Then they had their little control room, and then the studio.
Echo chamber.
Echo chamber, then the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
That was out of.
Bill told him about
So-
that echo chamber. I was the one who put that slick finish on that echo chamber.
Yeah, I remember you did that plaster work.
Yeah. Hard finish with echo.
Yeah.
There was who was Williams? There was somebody Williams.
Lawrence Williams.
Yeah.
Piano player, yeah. He worked in blackboard.
Any stories about him or anything? Or?
Not really. He helped me a lot on piano, showing me chords and stuff.
You like to drink a lot.
He drank.
Yeah.
I think me and Henry was the only one at the funeral, wasn't
Yeah. Me and you don't want to show
we?
that.
Standing there, and he was a veteran.
Yeah.
Them guys did that 21 gun salute and scared the hell out of me. I didn't know they was going to do it, you know.
Yeah.
But when I turned around, Henry said, "Oh, that's just a gun salute."
Scared me.
It kind of pissed me off too. Me and you don't do that.
Yeah.
All these musicians in town that knew it.
I know it, man.
I didn't think that was right.
Cousin Herb. Any stories about him? Besides what we talked about.
Not really.
We talked about some of them earlier, anyway, but
There's some. I know one, but we couldn't put it in the book.
okay.
He was a pretty good promoter, wasn't
Oh yeah, hell of a promoter.
Let's see. Oh, well, Buck Owens.
Buck Owens. Well, Buck, never was too many funny things about Buck. He was always pretty serious about it. Still is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why he got that money.
Yeah.
What songs have you written that he's recorded?
What songs? I
Does
can't
it come to
remember.
mind?
Sam's Place. Gonna Have Love, No One But You, Heart of Glass. Take Care of You from Me in Kansas City. Then I had a bunch on hymn albums and some on the Christmas album. And I can't remember all of them offhand.
Okay. Anything you remember on the studio or on the road that was kind of interesting or funny or sticks in your mind?
No, not really.
Did you play with Buck with Ken Nelson at all? Or
Yeah, I played on Buck sessions,
Yeah.
most of them.
and you played piano on those?
No, I
or-
played guitar, rhythm
Okay.
12-string guitar. In fact, I just worked a show with Buck from Merle out here.
Oh, that
He
reunion
worked
show.
that one,
Yeah, Buck called me and said he wanted his old record sound that
Yeah.
he had, and wanted to know if I'd play with him.
Yeah.
Sure, you know.
How instrumental were you in developing that sound?
He had it before I ever started with it.
I mean, it was like Tommy Collins sound had it part of it before Buck did, or they shared it, or
No,
he developed it.
Buck had a style that he used on Tommy Collins that he completely changed after he started his own style.
Uh-huh.
But I was just, me and Doyle Holly, he was bass player for Buck. And me and him played rhythm guitar, you know.
Did Doyle Holly play with Bob Wills too, or is that?
No.
That's, okay, that's somebody.
He wasn't old enough.
Okay.
But I remember one time I played harpsichord on one. What was that song?
Harpsichord.
Yeah,
Oh,
on Tall Dark Stranger or something like that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got that one. Anything? How did you prepare for those? Learn on the set that you'd have the songs written out, and you wouldn't rehearse or anything like that. You just go, or you would have done it in bars maybe before or on stage a little bit. No,
we just go down there and fill out a number chart and,
right.
on what we were gonna, on the chords and everything.
He sang them and they'd play it.
Typically, how long would it take you to do a song or an album?
Well, then it would take you 2 to 3 days to do an album.
Wow.
But that's like a 4-hour session or how long Buck wanted to do it. You know?
Yeah. Per day. Not even it wouldn't be an all-day session or anything.
No,
Yeah.
no.
What Henry was mentioning that sometimes there might be a flaw in the record, but it would still be a real good record. And now typically people spend a lot more. How many months in the studio just to get a good album?
Some of them do. You know?
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, or why? Do you think you get a better result and you lose spontaneity, or what's your thinking? Or do you like what they do versus what you did, or?
I guess really some people, I know I would get a dub of what we recorded on my records.
Yeah.
And I'd listen to it and see if anything I wanted to change. Sometimes we'd redo it, you know. And,
Yeah.
You might want to change a word or something like that, or
Right.
something in the music, you know.
Mm-hmm. But generally, it's just pretty straightforward. You just go in and do it and not practice it. And okay. Which means that the musicians then had to be real high caliber to pick that up that quickly, right?
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
They know what's going on, yeah.
Had some idea of the song. I mean,
Well, Buck always had good musicians.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Till I came along.
I mean, your band too. I mean, obviously, when
Yeah.
you were recording, it's the same thing.
I used George French, Billy Mize, Bobby Durham, used him on records.
Mm-hmm.
Different ones. Bob Morris. But I used most of the guys that I knew, you know, and
To get along with.
get along with. Yeah.
Let's see. Merle.
Merle?
Yeah. Any stories that are, you don't have to say anything bad, but it's like anything that you remember as just being funny or.
Let me think here.
We heard one story like how he waited 4 hours for his pups to be born at a truck stop one time.
One time we was I was out of New Orleans somewhere. I was traveling. I was opening the show for Merle and Fuzzy was supposed to got up and did something, and it was hot. I mean, it was hot back there. It was in the summertime. Merle went in there in Fuzzy's room. Fuzzy didn't even hear him come in there. He turned on the heater, turned on the hot water in the tub, and just walked out and let it run. Damn, Fuzzy never did wake up. And finally they called up there and said, "There's water leaking down the ceiling here. Somebody in the lower room down there."
Oh, man.
I guess Fuzzy finally got up. And,
That ought to wake him up.
Then one time I can't remember where we was at, somewhere back in the east back there, and it was about 3 in the morning, I guess, and we put on this old truck stop in this little bitty spot in the road. And Merle said, "Red said, do something funny. I want to laugh." And I said, "Okay." So I said, "You guys going in there, act like you don't know me when I come in."
Yeah.
So they went in there and they was all sitting at the counter, and I come in there and had this old coat and this old flop hat on, and I sat down over this table in the corner by myself.
Yeah.
And they didn't pay no attention to me. I sat in there and got a cup of coffee. I reached out and grabbed a coffee cup, pulled it over here, and salt and pepper. And I had this little car, and I'd go, and this old waitress looked over her. She told Merle, said, "I think there's something wrong with that guy." Merle said, "Why? What's wrong?" I said, "Well, look at him, watch him." Said, he's not right. Did he come in with you guys? Merle said, "No." I said, "We saw him walking up the road back there, but he's not with us." She said, "Well, something's wrong with him, So I got over and I got talking to Merle. I said, "Which way are you guys going?" Merle told me, and I said, "You think I could ride up that way with you?" And Merle said, "Yeah." And he said, I said, "Well, when you're leaving?" And he said, "Well, here in a little while." He said, "Just go get on the bus if you want to." And said, "We'll be out here in a little while." So I did. And Merle said, that waitress said, "You better watch that guy. There's something bad wrong with him." They got on the bus and they just tore him up. Boy, they just laughed.
Playing with the car on the table.
Yeah. Moving him coffee cups, salt shaker around. I didn't realize.
Were they the only ones in the cafe besides you?
Yeah, a waitress, and there was a security guard.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
a cop or something, and he kept watching me, boy.
Uh-huh.
He never did say anything to me.
He was ready. When the Bakersfield Sound, when do you think what was its time or era? What dates would you give it?
I guess Buck's Sound is the one they
Yeah.
call the Bakersfield Sound.
Yeah. More so than Merle's.
Yeah.
And why?
Well, they have different styles, I don't know if you can call it Bakersfield Sound or Nashville Sound or Weed Patch Sound or
California Sound.
California Sound or
Yeah.
that's
It's
what.
just a goody sound. What it
Yeah,
was.
it's like a more happier.
Yeah.
And the instrumentation is.
Yeah, everybody enjoyed playing.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Okay.
They have more of a. Buck had more of a treble sound than the bass. And Merle had a good treble sound too, but they were just so much different style,
Is Bobby Durham is like maybe he started out as he was a studio musician for you, and then he's still real active today. Also. No.
Bobby I was writing songs, and Bobby was recording them, some of them, and he used me on his sessions at Capitol before I ever got on Capitol. And so when I got on Capitol, I used him. So just because he used me and helped me make some money.
Well, Bob was born and raised here, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't come from somewhere else.
Okay. Who are your favorite musicians now, or just through the years that you?
In town in here, or just anywhere?
Well, anywhere. And which songs? What do you think are great? Give me some great country songs, great singers.
Well, musicians, I'm Roy Nichols, one of my huge. Him and Gene Mould, they both good guitar players. And Joe Mathis, he was a hell of a musician.
He was a terror on the guitar, wasn't he?
Oh, and on the fiddle or anything.
Banjo, he was,
yeah. And George French, he was one of my heroes on the piano. Don Markham, people we've been talking about, most of them, they won't take a back seat to anybody when it comes to playing music, you know.
Any favorite songs that you've written or other people have written that just every time just kind of grab you, or?
Not really. Because when you're a musician, you learn all you can, and you kind of pick what you like to sing, what people like to dance to, you know.
Yeah.
If they ask for it, you better know it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cliffy Stone. Do you have any stories about Cliffy Stone at all?
Cliffy's the one actually got me on Capitol. He was my manager for 2 or 3 years down there when I was with Capitol, and he did me a lot of good. I was signed with his publishing company as a writer before I started recording, and he just helped me, you know, a whole lot.
Gene Moles, any stories about him? Or?
Yeah, there's old Gene Mould. Me and him worked the Lucky Spot. I remember we was working out there, and we went fishing one time up at Lake Success up in Porterville. Yeah, we was fishing, and old Gene said, "Well, I think we're gonna move over to the other cove over there," and so he reached back there. It was his boat and motor and everything, about a 10-horse engine he had on, or 20, I don't know, big old motor, and he pulled that rope on that thing, that motor started, boy, and he went zoom, and Gene went right out of the boat. Just, I mean, and it was.
He didn't know it was in gear, did he?
He had it in gear, and the way he had it turned, boy, it just turned right back around and headed for him. So I jumped over the deal over and killed it, and it floated right up to Gene there, and Gene comes up, both hands on the boat, still got his hat on. And he said, "I always wondered if this waterproof watch works." But the whole lake roared because they knew who we were, you know, and what a sight that was.
That's a great story.
Suppose he done that to Sonny O'Brien one time.
Did he?
So, of course, the motor, he started the motor. Sonny, he'd stand up popping off. But he hit that gear.
Gene was standing up, he pulled it, you know, and when it kicked in, it was like that, and boy, and he went, shoo.
There ain't much you can do.
No.
Okay. Let's see. Any comments on the way country is today as to how it's changed, or anything? Or
Yeah, it's changed a lot. It's more rock and roll in this country, I think. Your real good country nowadays, I think, is Alan Jackson and Alan Jackson and Alan Jackson.
Yeah. Gene Watson.
Yeah.
I have a theory that right now that I think a lot of the music it's actually being written, it's dance music for women, and it's like almost geared for a 20-year-old girl or woman. Do you feel the same way like that, or because I mean, listening to the stuff we get in Los Angeles,
it's
Does anybody say anything like that to you, that's the audience you would shoot for now, or is that?
No.
No, they haven't said that. Okay.
I don't even listen to radio myself.
Okay.
Oh, listen, KP, what is it?
KCW?
Yeah, KCW.
KCW, I don't even listen to any of them.
Okay. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Anything else that you want to say, or?
Yeah, I'm going to be, I think in September, I'll be recording in Nashville. I'm going back there. It's called Diesel Only Records. It's out of Brooklyn, New York. and I've been contacted with them. It'd be me and Dave Dudley and Marty Stewart and Dale Reeves and I can't.
Wow.
They was going to use Dick Curlis, but he died. You know, and it's just going to be an album of I guess truck songs. So, in fact, this guy Jeremy Tepper from Diesel Only Records, he called me and he said, "Have you heard Junior Brown's recording your song?" And I said, "No, but I work at Trouts every Monday out here."
Yeah.
And Casey Adams just come out there from Cuz, and he was telling me about Junior Brown. He said he recorded your. Well, first, the Highway Patrolman here, Mac Wimbish, recorded it.
Yeah.
And they were playing on KKXX, the rock and roll station. Every morning they'd play that. And the next thing I heard was Casey Adams saying, "Junior Brown cut your song." And I don't know who Junior Brown was. And then Jeremy was telling me that he'd cut it, you know. He said, he's in town. He said, "I'll be seeing him tonight." He said, "Would you care if I give Junior your number?" I said, "Heck no," you know. So about a week later, Junior Brown calls me. And he'd asked me if I'd heard it, you know. I said, "No, I haven't heard it yet." And he said, "Well, I'll send you a tape on it." So he sent me a tape on it, and he said, "Send me some more songs," you know, give me his address. He lives in Jonestown, Texas. And that's how I got to meet Junior Brown. Met him on the phone. Never did meet him. Have you ever seen him, Henry?
Never seen him.
He's got a guitar up here, and down here it looks like an old Fender steel guitar.
That's what he was telling me. Yeah.
It's the darndest thing you ever seen.
And he can switch seamlessly from one
Oh,
to the
yeah,
other. He's
yeah.
a great musician.
So he sent me a tape, and he said, "We're going to make a single out of that." So I guess
Yeah, they did.
it was on the album, and it was a single. I haven't seen a billboard in years. I don't even know if it's on the charts. Hope it gets on the charts. But I did get a I got a BMI statement. Let's see if that's up to 2nd of February. I got this statement. You can see Highway Patrol.
Highway Patrol, yeah.
132 units of network TV or something like that.
Wow.
132 times they played it.
On television. Yeah. I think that's what it said.
Just on TV.
It says $397 on one for.
Is that radio or TV? That one for 1,300. What does it say?
Sam's Place for radio. Oh, I see. TV. Oh, it's TV network. Yeah, oh, I see. Sam's Place. Well, dang. We're in the wrong business, Henry.
I didn't see right.
No, Sam's wasn't up. Here, you need my glasses in?
No, I'm just. Close all the honky tonks. Yeah. Lock all the doors.
That's a great song. I love that.
Look at that Highway Patrol one, 1,300 and something. I
How
figured it up.
How did you write "Close All the Honky Tonks"? Is that just imagination, or?
Well, I was sitting out in my backyard. I lived on Real Road. And we was renting this little house in the back. And I was sitting out in the yard in a lawn chair one day with a guitar. And I'd been thinking about a honky tonk song, but Harlan Howard had one called something in. Cozy Inn. Wasn't that the name? Cozy Inn? Or something like that.
Cozy Inn. I wouldn't listen to what you said first.
Harlan Howard wrote a song.
Oh.
I think it was called the Cozy Inn or something like that.
What?
And I wanted to write a honky tonk song. So, the idea just came to me: close all the honky tonks, lock all the doors. And I called Buck up that night and sang to him on the phone. He said, "I'll cut that." But when I'd write songs, I could call Buck at home and he'd say, "Well, sing it to me."
Yeah.
And I remember one Saturday I wrote 5, and he took 4 of them.
Wow.
I wrote them that night, and I called him Sunday. It was about noon. And I said, "Here's this thing here called Sam's Place, and Heart of Glass, and I can't remember what all they were now." And the one he didn't take, he cut it later on another session.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah, this is a $1,309 on this one statement. 132 TV network stations.
Can't argue with that.
Altogether, it came to over $1,500 for just that one song.
Just one song.
Now, this is up to June 30th, 94.
Yeah. Wow. Well, it's been a lot more popular since then. I know
They're
that.
over a year behind.
Yeah.
See, he was doing all this. I didn't even know about it back then.
I told you last winter when I saw you.
Yeah?
That you were around and recorded it. Yeah.
So I'm just wondering what the next one's going to be. It'll be September.
Well, yeah, because they put it out on a single since then.
The reason I got this, Ray Rush called me the other day. You remember Ray, don't you?
Yeah.
And he's one of the writers on him and Dennis Payne. And he hadn't. I asked him, I said, did you get your money on Highway Patrol? What money? I said, hell, man, I got over $1,500 off Highway Patrol. He said, well, they ain't had my address in years. I said, well, you dumbass. I said, you better get down there and give them your address because you got some money down there. So he called Dennis and asked Dennis. Dennis said he didn't get any because he was advanced. His was all advanced out. See? Anyhow, I guess he called. I told him to call Roger Sovine, Red Son.
Mm-hmm.
He's vice president of BMI. See?
Oh, is he?
Yeah. And so I guess he did. He never called back. So
But he got his money.
I said, you better get your address straight.
And keep it current.
Yeah, you bet. Because you never know what's going to happen, man. Then I just had a record last year on Close All the Honky Tonks by Don Sears.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that one?
Not by him, no.
That's a girl.
Okay. Or
Dawn, D-A-W-N. She's a MCA revived Decca, and she was on that one. So. In fact, I got a tape. I'll play it for you here in a minute. When you get
Okay. How any thoughts on a career in music, like just starting it out and learning as you went and making it stick and you know creating a good life out of it? How do you feel? I don't know. How do you feel about that?
You mean why did I?
How hard was it, and how has it been worth it? You know, it was like.
Oh yeah, it was well worth it. The reason I really got into music, I was lazy.
Me too.
I didn't want to work hard.
Yeah.
And music's something I love to do, and I seem to get through it all right.
Yeah.
You know. I've been hired and fired out of every club in town, laid off.
I've been fired out of bigger places than that.
Frank used to fire me just about every other night at the black, or I'd quit. You know, he'd call the next day. You coming to work tonight? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll get out of here.
I guess. What was the key for you in music when you made it? And was there one point where you knew everything was going to be okay, that you could make it, or was it just a continuous struggle?
You mean financially wise? Or?
Well, well maybe musically and financially, or you can separate it. Or
Well,
just at some point you just say, hey, I feel good enough that I'm going to just never give this up or something, or you always just look to the end of the day. I don't know.
Something you're like an addict.
Yeah.
In music, when you get hooked on it.
Yeah.
You gotta love it, stay in it too.
You can't give it up.
Yeah.
I think it's 64. The end of 64 is when I just said, heck with it, I ain't working no more clubs, you know. Because like I was telling you a while ago, I was doing good with my songs and everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And then in 66, I got that deal with Capitol.
Yeah.
And I just stuck with that. Well, I was with Capitol for 4 albums, and they dropped me in 68. And in 71, I cut Hello, I'm a Truck on Portland record. And I was still in the red to them for like $2,000. Sessions, back sessions.
Yeah.
And so I ran into Gene Breeden up in Portland, Oregon. He told me he's starting this little label. And he wanted to record me. So I said, sure. And we cut one record, didn't do anything. In fact, I cut that one. I cut that session over $1, I think. And then he called me one time and said, I got this song. Got this song for you called Hello, I'm a Truck. I thought, that's a dumb song, sounded. So when I got up there, well, he played it for me, and I thought, all right, man, let's cut it and see what happens. And so we cut it, and I took it to Cliffy Stone, because I was with his company then. I didn't write the song, it was Bob Stanton.
Uh-huh.
And I took it to Cliffy and offered him half the publishing if they'd help me mail it out and get it distributed. And so I remember me and old Smiley Monroe, we packaged up about 2,500 records down there at Central. They paid for the mailing and everything, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
And Gene Breeden told me to go ahead and do whatever I wanted with it. So I did. In the meantime, I took it over to Capitol, and I think Steve Stone was working over A&R then.
Mhm.
And see if they wanted to lease it. They said, no, we ain't leasing anything. We don't lease anything. So anyhow, this darn thing started catching a hold, man. It'd been out a month or so, and it was ready to hit the charts, you know. And Capitol found out about it. Gene said he had 6 other majors called him about it, you know. And he said, well, you got to call Red. He said, he's handling the whole thing. So Capitol called me and said, hey, you still want to lease that? I said, no. He said, well, we want that record. I said, what do we have to do to get it? I said, well, you know how much I'm in the red up there? And I think it's about 2,000, 2,500. They said, yeah. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, start fresh, wipe that out, and I'll let you guys have it and let Gene produce my records. All right, man, well, we want that record. Then they sent me on a record promotion tour, man. I went to Wisconsin, I went to Kansas City, all over the country.
What time of year?
In the winter.
Oh.
God damn. I'll tell you, up there in Minneapolis, that was some cold stuff, man. And then that thing just kept on going and hit number 1, you know.
Wasn't it a movie too or something?
Not that I know of. Might have been. There's so many things happen. They put out albums I didn't even know about, you know.
Yeah.
Then you get your royalties and said, well, this was on so-and-so's. Like they had a thing with me and Sovine and Dave Dudley and Dick Curlis. And I didn't know anything about it until somebody...
You used the tape that you made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they do is combine them all to a trucker's album, you know.
Well, that's about it. That's all I can think of. You think of anything, Henry?
No, we covered it pretty good. Except I won't even show you that list of songs.
Oh, that list?
Yeah.
I'll have to find that. I got a man.
I ain't good year. I told that he told that to me.
Why? How come you got into truck driving songs? Was there any special reason, or did you just...
Ken Nelson wanted to do a truck driving album. A new singer. Dudley and Dick Curlis and Red Sovine were real hot into this truck driving stuff.
Right.
That's how I got into it. Cliffy Stone kind of helped promote the deal with Ken Nelson. I could tell you, I'll go Merle. They wanted Merle to do it, and he turned it down. So they...
What did Homer and Jethro do of yours?
Dear Don Bowman, don't sing me a song.
Oh, that, yeah.
I wrote one, Dear Harlan Howard, Don Bowman recorded. And so they wrote this parody to it. So me and Don and Homer Jethro were songwriters together.
Wow. Yeah, this is a bit. It's so thick, it's overwhelming.
I'll tell you this.
And this is 15, 16 years old.
Yeah. God, I hate to get, if I get a new one, I'll probably reach down here to that damn swimming pool.
Yeah, you wrote a lot with Fuzzy, it looks like.
I wrote some with him, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of
Wrote a little bit with everybody.
Bill Woods.
Yeah.
Any partner that was more fun than the others, or to write with,
or? Not really.
Not really. Any stories about Fuzzy?
Just that one in the bathtub.
Yeah.
About Merle heating up his room.
Yeah, okay. That's right, we did that.
You guys, have y'all ate yet?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Henry doesn't eat but one meal a day, I think.
Down here at the clubhouse, I got good cheeseburgers and chili today. I have it every weekend down there.
Okay.
And I was looking at this office, and I said, do you know where Jimmy Bowen's office is? She said, yeah, it's right around the corner, the third door down there. And I got to looking at her, I said, I've seen you somewhere. What is your name? She said, Loretta Lynn. I said, oh, shit. I said, I met you in San Antonio when I was with Merle. She said, yeah, Red Simpson. How'd you remember my name? I don't know how she did, but she did.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, and you hugged my neck in San Antonio when I first met you. Real nice lady.
Any other stars in your travels?
Yeah, I got into one night. I was telling you about been up there when Louis came into Reno that time. Well, after that, after Willie's show that night, they were all going over to, Willie was staying at Harris' house, that big house that they let the superstars stay in. Had a swimming pool and living room, whole everything, big old. Merle said, "Hey, come on, go with us. We're going to have a poker game." So I just got paid over at Sierra Sid's. I had about 1,100 with me, and I thought, well, I might as well. Hell, if I lose it, I'm going to lose it. We sat there and played. Old Merle dropped about 2,500 in about 45 minutes. Marty was there, his son, and Merle got down. He said, "Son," Marty said, "You got any money?" And he said, "Got a little bit, Dad." He said, "You got 1,000?" He said, "Yeah." I said, and then Marty said, "About time I started loaning you some." And anyhow, we sat there, played poker with Don Bowman and Grady Martin, a bunch of them, Stu Carnell. He was there. And me and Willie was the last ones in the game. Everybody else got wiped out. And it was about 10 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know how much was out there. I don't know, $3,000-4,000 in the pot. You know. And so I had an ace high straight. First 5 cards. Boy, I bet everything. You know, I still had my 1,100. I was winning. You know, man, I had to stack $100 bill. And so anyhow, we got it all bet out there, and Willie said, "What you got?" I said, "Ace high straight." "What you got?" He said, "All purple." I said, "God damn."
What's all purple?
Flush.
Oh.
Beats a straight, man.
Oh, yeah.
I said, "Oh, man." So I said, "Well, that's it. I'm going home." And I counted out what I had left. I had $1,100 left. I played all night, drank their beer. Old Willie had this big old tray.
Yeah.
Silver platter, you know.
Yeah.
And just marijuana and paper. And he said, "Here, you want a smoke?" I said, "I got some, Willie." But boy, they're smoking that backy.
Good story.
Oh, Willie, he was funny.
Okay, what about taking your picture?
Sure.
All right.